Hello everyone, Niev here, and we are doing the hashtag mid-year tarot tag, and this was started by Chanel Days a long time ago, and she's no longer on YouTube, but people are still doing her tag, and I've done this tag a few times now, so I'm really excited to do it again. All right, I'm gonna light this candle here. Let's see. There we go. Just move it off to the side. Okay, so let's get started. So the first prompt is a deck you've used the most this year, and that was a no-brainer for me. The deck that I used the most this year was my Anna K Tarot, and that is because this has been my daily card pull deck. So this deck, as I've mentioned before on my channel, this is like my own personal deck. There, trying to zoom in a little bit there. So this is my own personal deck. I don't use this deck to read for other people. I just use it for myself. And yeah, I'm very comfortable with the imagery. I kind of use it to represent myself. It's like my own personal like therapy deck. I don't know if that makes sense, but like yeah, and I wouldn't say it's a deck that like calls me out or anything. It's really just very matter of fact. It's very much like a best friend, but it's myself. It's like I'm talking to myself, and that is how I use this deck. Now, it has been out of my rotation for this year because I decided to just use it this year at least as my daily reader, daily card pull. So I haven't pulled a card every single day. Does not want to stay focused on these cards here, but I have not used it every single day, but I've used it most days. Yeah, and yeah, I skip some days every now and then, but there's something about this deck. It's the very emotive faces. The faces here are just like, I mean, look how many faces are here, and you can really tell the emotions of every single person on this card, even the ones way in the back. I'm not sure if you can see that, but even the ones way in the back, they also have like an emotion to them. And yeah, I mean the characters here, they're a little bit like Hobbit, like a little bit slightly disproportionate. I mean, here's a good example here, where they have larger heads, you know, and yeah, but in a weird way, it makes me think of myself because I'm a very small person. I'm 4'10", and you know, like when you're short, like the proportions can sometimes be a little bit different. You know what I mean? And I feel like the people in this deck are kind of proportioned closer to how I look. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just a deck that like I've had this for probably over a dozen years, maybe, and it feels like me. It feels like it belongs to me. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm making any sense there, but yeah. So that is the most used deck this year, and that's the Anna K Tarot, and it is my daily card pull deck. Okay, so the next prompt is a brand new deck. So a new deck in my collection, and this is a new deck and a new bag that I've made. So this is the bag that I made, and I showcased this in my latest bag creation video. So go check that out if you're interested. But this is the Crystal Keys Tarot. So let me pull that to the side there. So this is a really nice addition to my collection. I'm so happy I have this. I believe my husband got this for me for Mother's Day, so a really nice surprise gift here. Yeah, and it's, you know, one of the reasons I wanted to get this deck, it's combining crystals with tarot cards, which I really like, but the art is so you know, like each card kind of has its own color depending on the stone, and some of them are kind of rainbowy because of the stone. But because of that, it's kind of a deck of colors too, and I think it pairs well with a lot of different decks. I really like the way this turned out, and the edging on it is gorgeous. And I use that same color scheme for the bag here. Yeah, this is just, it's a beautiful deck. I'm really happy to have it in my collection. I feel like eventually it will become a pretty widely used deck in my collection, I think. So, yeah. So there we go. That is the Crystal Keys, and that's one of my newest decks here. Cool. Okay, so the next prompt is my most anticipated deck, and I'm going to flip through a deck while I talk about my most anticipated deck, and I'm going to flip through the Coastal Curiosities, and that is because the most anticipated deck is the Folkloric Water and the Folkloric Forest, and all the other decks that I recently bought from Lennox Reese. So this is obviously a Lennox Reese deck. So, and it's the only one I have. So I'm going to flip through this while I talk. So yeah, I backed the Folkloric Waters. And I added on the Folkloric Forest, though technically I think you were able to back the Folkloric Forest on that. So I think technically I picked that one and then added on the waters. I don't know. It was a little convoluted, but like I got there at the end. But I also added on to that order. I added on the Common Oracle. That's the little deck with the words on it. And I also added on the Faded Frontier. Yes, I couldn't remember the name of it. So yeah, I've really been enjoying this deck. It's the only one I have from this creator. So their works have been on my radar for a long time. I mean, you know, there were the other decks that I can't, Peculiar Pathways maybe? That's the other one. Yeah, that one's been on my radar for a long time. And, you know, when you're in the deck collecting world, you have a gajillion things on your wish list, you know, and at different times, other decks just end up taking priority. You get this one over that one. And long story short, I just never ended up getting the Peculiar Pathways one. And then this one, you know, was also on my radar. And then finally, I finally got around to getting it, and really happy to have this. Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to getting basically 4 more decks from this creator through that Kickstarter and all the add-ons and stuff. So really excited for that. So yeah, so that is my most anticipated deck. Now, the deck that is the biggest disappointment, and I feel bad for it, and this is going to be no surprise because I actually was just talking about this in my last video, I believe, but that is the Unfinished Business Tarot. Yeah, let me pull this out. Okay, so the thing is, I love the concept of this deck. I love the art in this. This card makes me think of On Morrigan. I love the art in this deck. It's MJ Colonnades. Hello, focus. Thank you. So, you know, we're all familiar with this art style, this kind of collage-y kind of art style here. Man, this does not want to focus. It's probably because of the waviness of the art itself is kind of like the camera does not want to focus on it. And then the clouds keep moving in front of the sun, and then clearing the sun, and so I'm getting lots of different light changes going on right now. But anyway, yeah, I love the theme of this deck. I love the style of this deck. I love the art on this deck. So what is there to hate, or what is there that's the disappointment? It's the cardstock. I'm so bummed about this cardstock. I really am. I'm so bummed about it. And I don't want to, like, you know, bash creators or bash decks, etc. But like, it's my opinion here. You know, like I really cannot stand this cardstock. It is like it's like cardboard basically. And that's what it feels like. It's very, very stiff. I cannot riffle shuffle this at all, which is my preferred way of shuffling cards. They're really thick, so even overhand shuffling is a little difficult for my tiny child-sized hands. And I'm just bummed by it because, you know, I love MJ Cullinan's other independent decks. Like, I have the Grimalkin Curious Cats, and I have the Guardian of the Night, both of those in the independent versions, and that cardstock is fantastic. It's so like slippy, and it's got that texture to it. I don't know if it's linen, but it's got a texture to it that makes it very shuffleable, and they're a little wider than a normal tarot decks, but because the cardstock is so it's on the thinner side, which is a good thing. It's still high quality, but it's on a thinner, it's very flexible. I love that cardstock. I know some people didn't like it because of how slippery it is, but I like it, you know, and I was really bummed getting this in and realizing this cardstock is just like, I can barely bend it. It's super, super stiff and thick, and I can't shuffle this at all. My hands won't even fit around. Like I've already exhausted like what almost a quarter of this deck going through it, and I still can barely fit I'm already losing cards on this. I can't even put my hands around it. Yeah, and you know, it other than this, you know, it being like, you know, sad about the cardstock on this, I really don't have too many disappointments this year. But like, I think what makes me disappointed in this is that there are other decks that MJ Colonnade has come out with that I'm interested in, because this is one of those creators that I get a lot of their decks of, you know. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And I'm really interested in the Coastal Crows tarot, right? It's a tarot. I'm interested in that one. But if it's going to be this cardstock, like, I don't want it, you know. Like, and that's a bummer. I feel bummed out by that. Like, I miss the old cardstock is what I'm saying. But this is a really good deck, though. It fits right in with my practice, which is a lot of ancestor work, things like that. So spirit, working with spirits, etc. Departed loved ones, departed people in general. Yeah, I really enjoy this deck, and it fits right in with my practice. But yeah, I just wish the cardstock was better. But yeah, anyway. So going from the biggest disappointment to now the biggest surprise, I chose the Celestial Unicorn Tarot, and I just have it in this mesh starry bag here. Obviously not a bag that I made, and I keep it with the book here for now. I might make a bag for this, I don't know. So this came in a subscription box, and I got this actually last year, so I'm not sure if I talked about this in one of my wrap-up video type things, but you know, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I'm pulling it out again, but I was very surprised by this, and this is not a deck I would ever order myself. Some of the cards are a little bit, you know, dumb, but this would never have been a deck that I would have purchased myself. But I got it in a subscription box, and I was like, oh, unicorns, because I'm not really a unicorn gal. I mean, it's not really my thing. You know, and this cardstock is actually pretty thin. This is Llewellyn, I believe. I think this is Llewellyn. What is this? Let's see. Yeah, Llewellyn. This is a Llewellyn deck. Yeah, and this cardstock, it's a little too thin, but I feel like this is their current mass market cardstock right now for Llewellyn, so I'm not going to complain about that too much, but it is on the thin side for me. And it's unicorns, which is just not my jam, and it's a lot of it, it's very computer generated art, not necessarily AI, but I have no idea on that part, but it's computer generated. There's a not computer generated, but computer art. I don't know how to put that differently. Not AI, but computer art. Yeah, anyway. And many of those things are not really my thing. You know? I'm not a unicorn girl. I'm not really into a lot of that computer art style. Some of it can be pretty good. But I really love the Suit of Fire in this deck. And this deck has just been a surprise for me. I've surprisingly enjoyed it quite a bit, and I wouldn't say it's like a top favorite or anything, but it's definitely a deck that I'm surprised by. I'm surprised that I like it, you know, because normally these things would not be my jam. This would not be my thing, but I mean, this is a cool card. I really like that one. Yeah, the entire suit of wands I love. I love the fire. I really really like in this deck, and the lighting on the fire cards, the wands cards are just fabulous. This is beautiful. I love celestial stuff too, so I think that's also what's like, oh, focus. I think that's also what's making me like this a bit more than I would normally, is that I really like celestial things. So, you know, galaxies, stars, moons, etc. You know, that's definitely my jam. And in a weird way, this kind of took a little bit the place of the Star Tarot that I have, which is a very serious deck, and I wanted to like it more than I do, but I just don't like that deck. There's a few cards that I like, whereas this one, it's almost opposite. There's most of the cards I like, but there's a few that are kind of dumb or that I don't like, but most of them I seem to actually kind of like. The Star Tarot, it's kind of opposite. There's some cards that I love, and then there's most of the cards that I'm like, ugh, and I don't know. This one is, in a weird way, filling that role that I thought that deck would make. You know what I mean? And man, the fire suit is so cool. So this has definitely been a surprise for me. I'm surprised at how much I like this deck. You know? All right. So that is a deck that is a surprise. Okay, so the next one is the Deck Crush, and this is going to be no surprise to anyone, but I chose the Blood Moon Tarot. So this is the bag that I recently made for this deck. Again, this is featured in my bag creation video, so go check that out if you're interested. Yeah, I think the lighting is better this time around, so maybe we're getting better look at this this bag here, but yeah. All right, so this is the Blood Moon Tarot. I'm really happy to have this one in my collection. Oh, look at that edging. This is such a nice mass market deck, and this is like this is great cardstock. Like, yes, it's thin. It is thin, and it's super super bendy. These cards do feel a little taller than normal though. Like, they feel a little bit taller than most tarot decks. Yeah, it is a little bit of a stretch, but my gosh, that shuffle's so nice. Look at that bridge. Oh, you know, this is wonderful cardstock. So I'm really happy with this cardstock. Now, this deck has been definitely crush in my collection. And I was saying how the Celestial Unicorn is like taking the place of the Star Tarot in my collection. Like, it's filling the role that deck that I wanted that deck to fill in my collection. Well, this one is doing a similar thing. It is replacing the role that the Hush Tarot, that I was hoping the Hush Tarot would fill in my collection. I ended up passing along that deck, along with a cool bag that I made for it. But I just could never connect to it. I wanted to use it for Fae work, or to or a connection with the other world, the other crowd, etc. And this deck has a very similar vibe as the Hush Tarot, that dark, wild Fae kind of energy. Like, not cutesy, you know, not cutesy Fae or anything, but really like dark Fae world here. And this is just doing what I wanted that deck to do for me. So you know, there's things in this deck that I wish were different. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of renaming suits or court cards, or, you know, renaming the major arcana. Renaming in general, I tend to not really be a fan of, mostly because I am a deck collector. So, and I use the vast majority of my decks. I try to use all of my decks, but some of them I don't use at all. Yeah, so because I have so many decks, because I have like 200 decks, when decks start renaming cards, I just kind of forget what they are. You know, I forget what that card's supposed to be. You know what I mean? And so, like, it did take me a little bit to kind of understand the suits here. It's not terrible. The sun card is so pretty. All of the honey stuff in this deck is just gorgeous, and that's actually why I went for this honeymoon. The bees and the honeymoon embroidery for the bag. I really wanted to tap into that bee and honey aspect of this deck, and then and it still has the darkness of these skulls too. So yeah, and this has paired really, really well with the Fairies Oracle in my collection, because that's the energy that I'm using this deck for. I'm using it, or trying to use it for connection with the other crowd, with the Fae, etc. So that's something I'm still working on and figuring out, and trying to do safely, etc. Because I also I primarily protect against the Fae. I don't see them as little cutesy winged pixies that are there to help. I see them as very wild and something to protect the home from, to to carry a piece of iron if I need it, etc. But yeah, it's the energy of this deck that I really, really connect with, and yes, definitely in love with this deck lately. So that is my biggest deck crush, and that is the Blood Moon Tarot. All right. Okay, so the next prompt is a favorite tarot card. A favorite tarot card from any of the decks. So I picked the Moonlit Tarot by Chanel Days. And there is one card in here that was the one that convinced me this was the deck to get. This was actually the first of her decks that I got. Yeah, so I ended up getting 6 of her decks before they all went out of print. You can't get these anymore now. But I initially only bought one deck, and the first deck I bought was this one. And what convinced me to get this deck was this card right here, the Queen of Cups, because oh my gosh, it's Morticia, and it's Angelica Houston here, and she's like amazing, and I love this, and this is just like, I'm so happy to I saw this card, and because it was when I first was trying to decide which deck to get, I was trying to decide between the Moonlit Tarot and the Deathly Flowers. And I did end up eventually getting the Deathly Flowers. But before I got the Deathly Flowers, I picked this one specifically because of this card. Because, I mean, it's just amazing. And I really enjoy this deck. I've gotten to know it pretty well for over the last couple months. And yeah, and I'm really excited to have so many of her decks, because I currently in my possession have 3 of her decks. It's this deck here, the Moonlit Tarot, the Deathly Flowers, and the Velvet Heart, which is also an amazing deck. Velvet Heart also could have been my biggest surprise, because that was one, it wasn't really even on my radar. I wasn't really even aware of the Velvet Heart Tarot until her collection until she announced that her collection was going out of print. And then I got, that was the next deck that I got after this one, was the Velvet Heart, and I really love it. That was a great surprise, and it was a surprise that it was so small too. So, I mean, I know I'm talking about one of the previous prompts here and not a deck that's in front of me, but I'm more just talking about her decks here. So yeah, and then I got the Deathly Flowers, and so those are the 3 that I currently have. I'm still waiting on the Concordance Oracle and the Vintage Daydreams Oracle. So 2 oracles from her. And then at the very last minute, I finally decided I'm gonna go ahead and do it, and I bought the Chromatica Oracle. So those 3, I'm gonna get 2 of them in pretty soon, and then the third one, it's gonna be a while. And that I was planning on doing a Chanel Days video this month, going over all of her decks that I have, instead of doing separate videos for each one. But because I ordered Chromatica so late, I might not get that in time, and I probably won't. So I'm gonna wait until, so that video is gonna wait until August. That way I can have all 6 of the decks that I bought from her collection in there. But yeah, so my favorite card from tarot decks this year has been this Queen of Cups from the Moonlit Tarot. Okay, so speaking of decks that are going out of print or are out of print, the next prompt is a deck that makes you happy, and I chose this entire collection here, the Divination. This divination deck of like pop culture cartoons, animated cartoons. Yeah, so here's the thing, and I talked about this in my last video too. So this is a whole like kind of system thing. There's lots of different add-on decks. Some of these are empty. This is empty, but some of these still have cards in them. They came with a bunch of different expansions, and that's what these are. And each of these expansions has location cards, character cards, and objects cards. And I went through and I picked my favorites, and I put them here in these cards. So let me lay out some of these cards here. Okay, so these are my curated decks here, and I think I have, because you can fit, I think, 90 cards in each of these little packs. I think you can pick, I think you can fit 90. I'm not sure. It might be 45 actually, which is half that. But yeah. Anyway, so there were several different expansions, and I got lots of them. I wasn't able to get all of them, so these might be out of print. I'm not sure. I keep checking the Etsy, and the Etsy is saying that they're coming back, but then at the same time, it also says we're open through to the 28th of June, and it is now, I'm filming this on July 2nd, so, and they're not open yet, and I had heard that they are perhaps not even coming back, like they were just getting rid of their stuff. And if that's the case, I would really like to be able to get the last few packs, because yeah. So anyway, so this my curated collection here of cards are, we have the categories of location, character, and object. And how I've been using this, I've been using this as kind of a meditation guide, in the same way that I sort of use any sort of pathworking deck that I have, where I'm going to be in a location. So during my meditation, I pull a location card. So I'm at the Smiling Friends headquarters here, and each of these cards do have keywords on here. So happy, out of place, and unsettling, so that's where I'm at in this meditation. And who do I encounter? I encounter SpongeBob here. So as you can see, this is why this made me happy. This is a deck that makes me happy because it's just fun. And then what is the object? What is the object either that SpongeBob is giving me, or that I'm coming across, etc. We have troll dolls here, and this is from the show Hilda. But I connect this card to my great-grandmother because she collected troll dolls. But yeah, so that may be my indication during that meditation that my great-grandmother's coming through. But yeah, so I mean, you can do whatever you want here. And it's got really cool, Space Ghost. I love Space Ghost so much. Space Ghost set with Tommy Pickles and the locket. I don't remember what this is from. This is from Hey Arnold, because this is Helga's locket, so that's cool. Like it's just fun. Moe's Tavern with Ida from the Owl House, and then we have the portable console. It's just a Game Boy system. I don't remember what cartoon this is supposed to be referencing, but yeah. So it's, as you can see, it's a lot of fun, and I've been combining it with some other decks. If you saw my last video, my Enchanted Expectations, I did a full moon reading with this, and I did basically this meditation where I pulled up location, a character, and an object, and then I used the Velvet Heart Tarot and the Echo Tarot around it to add more context to what was going on. So yeah, and this, because it's, you know, this is total nostalgia bait, and also not nostalgia even, because some of these are current cartoons. Some of these are cartoons that I don't know, that my kids know, that I don't know, you know, and that was going to be the case for some of the ones I hadn't gotten yet. There were some expansions that were cartoons that my kids are more familiar with that I'm not familiar with. So I mean, it's got a little bit of that nostalgia. It's got a little bit of that whimsy and just almost inner child stuff going on. The portal from oh gosh, Rick and Morty, Wile E. Coyote, and the arcane book here. Very cool. All right, so that is the divination set. I have it in 3 categories here: location, character, and object. And hopefully they come back and I'm able to get the rest of them. But if not, I am very happy with this. And this has been a fun readings with this one. So this is definitely a deck that makes me happy. Oh boy, it's getting hot in my ritual room. All right, so the next prompt is the most beautiful deck. So I pulled out this one here. This is the Botanica Tarot Full Bloom Edition by Kevin J. Stanton. Yeah, so I'm going to pull this out. So this is a very, very beautiful deck, and it does have like a little expansion of like a little mini, it's like 3 more suits that have 11 cards each, and I'm still not quite sure how I want to use that. so it's there, but I have it. And then this is the tarot, and my gosh, is this a beautiful, beautiful deck. Like, wow. I mean, I'm just gonna put it like this. This is gorgeous. Do I have this upside down? I do have that upside down. Yes, I did. I had it upside down. Like, the art on this is just stunningly beautiful, and I've paired it with a bunch of other decks, and it's a beauty. It's a beauty. Yeah, and it's on this black background that is just, it makes the images look so haunting, you know? Wow. This is definitely an aesthetically pleasing deck. Now, it's a difficult read. It is a difficult read. You have to really know the cards. It does come with a really great guidebook. So if you don't know the cards, there is the guidebook, and it's a little white book, but it's really comprehensive and very good. Yeah, but man, is this one beautiful. Like, I'm just going to flip through a few of these cards and then go to the next prompt, because I am actually really hot now. All right, so that is definitely my most beautiful deck of the year, and that is the Botanica Tarot Full Bloom. So next up is a deck by the that I want by the time the end of the year comes around, and obviously I have this deck, but I'm pulling it out just to look at it. This is the Green Glyphs Tarot by James R. Eads, and I'm pulling this out just to flip through and say that my the deck that I would like to get by the end of the year is the Cerulean Sequence by James R. Eads, and so I backed the Cerulean Lenormand and playing card Kickstarter that he just did, where I'm getting 2 different Lenormand decks and a playing card deck, and it's probably going to be similar size to the whole Green Glyphs collection, which I'm excited for. Yeah, and I backed those, but I never got the Cerulean Sequence, and I would like to get that by the end of the year. So, big fan. James R. Eads is just one of those creators, you know, that's one of the creators that I just get everything that he creates, because I love it all. I love it all. And his focus on like past lives, his focus on otherworldly beings, and also his focus on numerology are all things that are definitely up my alley. And his connection to like geomancy, etc. I love his work. So I am hoping I could get the Cerulean Sequence by the time the end of the year comes around. And yeah, so there we go. So next up is a deck that I have not used yet this year, and I'm pretty sure this is accurate. I may have used this, I'm not sure, but that would be the Yonassa Yaus. I have the 5th edition, And I'm actually not even sure that's how you say their name. Is it Yonasa Yaus or is it Honasa House? Honasa House. I'm actually not sure. But like a lot of us say Yonasa Yaus, so that's kind of the pronunciation that I use. But anyway, so this is a Marseille deck, and it is absolutely stunning. And it's very floral based. And the thing is, the entire reason I don't really use this deck very often, and you know, now that I think of it, I may have actually used this deck this year, so this may be a total lie, but I don't remember. But I haven't really used this deck, and because I don't know the Marseille system, and it's something that I want to study, and eventually there's so many things I want to study, you know, and the Marseille system is definitely on that list. And I have like a, not a workbook, but like a pamphlet sort of talking about Marseille stuff. And then I have a couple other Marseille decks which have books that go along with it. So I don't know. Eventually, I'll learn Marseille, and because gosh, this is a beautiful deck. Yeah. I now think that I have actually used this year, but but I thought I hadn't, and that's okay, whatever. Still fun, and it's still not a deck that I really fully comprehend. So yeah, so I put it in this category. It's a deck that I haven't like. I may have actually pulled cards for this sometime this year, but like I don't really know this deck, you know what I mean? And I would really, really like to. So there we go. All right, now the last prompt is the favorite video I've made. So I listed 3 videos here. So probably the answer to this question would probably be the video that I made for my dad's memorial. Yeah, it was like the day after my dad died. Earlier this year, he passed away in April, and it was a shock. Like we were not like, yeah, he's been I don't know, not sick, but like he's had health issues for many years now, and but I don't think any of us thought he was going to pass away like anytime really soon. But like I don't know, at the same time, last year we went out and saw them, and thank goodness we did. But and when I left my dad's house in Kansas, I just started bawling in the car as soon as we left their neighborhood. And I had said to my husband that you know, I just feel like this was my last goodbye to my dad. And I'm gonna try not to get all upset. But yeah, so I mean, I bawled my eyes out for a good like 10 minutes straight, and I had said I think this is the last time, this was my goodbye to my dad. So and I hate that I was correct, but there you have it. And so you know, it was probably my toughest video, but I did a video the day after my dad died, just kind of processing what was going on. And I'm doing much better now. I like Father's Day was really, really rough. And you know, I've been, it was probably that for a month amount of time that I was just constantly crying, like on and off and randomly, and just out of nowhere I would just be bawling my eyes out. There was that. But after that month, it's much more at a place of acceptance, but obviously, like, it's still very fresh, very new, so I'm gonna have moments that are gonna be rough. So yeah, so that's probably the answer to this question, is my dad's memorial video. But I also want to say that I had a few others that that I really liked, that I would like to talk about. And so 2 of those that I've done this year are the videos on my altar and decks for Bridget, for the Irish goddess Bridget. I did that at the end of January, going into February there. And then I also did another one for Ondagda, my altar and supplies and decks that I use for Ondagda. And I did that video right at the end of April, I think, because it was, I celebrate Ondagda on Bealtaine. And so I wanted to get it out before Bealtaine. So yeah, and this is part of a series that I'm doing where I'm going over my 4 main deities, and I did a video on Morrigan last year. Got like hardly any views because I sometimes I think my interests may be a little bit too niche for YouTube, but like so I did a video on Morrigan last year, and then I did my Bridget video and on Dagda video, and this month at the end of this, or near the end of this month, I am actually doing another one for Lou. So that will round out my my 4 main deities. And because going at the end of this month it will be Lunasa. So yeah, all right, so that one. And then finally I also want to talk about the tarot tag that I put out there that I mean, I guess it's gotten a little bit of views, but like, I like to sometimes create tarot tags, but they never go anywhere. But I thought this one was kind of fun, and I really liked the video that I did. So, and that was the hashtag favorite tarot spreads. And it was all about spreads. There weren't really any prompts to it. It was just like, let's talk about the spreads you like to use, and the spreads you use for various reasons. And that was like an hour-long video. It was really long, but I thought I really went over a lot of the spreads that I use in my practice. So if you're interested, please go check out the favorite tarot spreads, and if you would like to participate in that, I would love to see your spreads. All right, so that's it. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. It is super hot in this room. I will see you guys later. All right, bye, everyone.